Okay, let us talk to you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cheap Pop Wrestling Podcast. We are your host, John, Ken, and Dakota. We're here with our Raw recap and a brand new top 10. Just remember, we're three middle-aged men complaining about wrestling. With that being said, John, why don't you get us started?
If you don't like what we like, we don't give a fuck. Anyways, on with the top 10. To start us off, at number 10, we had the 5-minute, not so 5-minute challenge with Chad Gable and Gunther. Gable making the entire 5-minute challenge without being pinned, and then Gunther added more time, and this ended up being a complete banger of a match with Gunther getting the win.
Yes.
And go ahead and take us off for number 9.
Number 9, LA Knight versus the Sheamus Botch. If you did not see that, that was a doozy. Broke our hearts a little bit, but, you know, the stuff happens, okay? The stuff happens. Dakota, why don't you take us away with Never Late number 8?
Never late number 8. Just remember to wear that latex before you get that latex saying that I'm latex. Anyway. Oh, number 7. 8. You done fucked me up. Number 8. We had the women finally getting a main event match on Dynamite after I don't know what you'd call it on Twitter, but we called it fucking hilarious. You had Toni Storm defending her title against Hikaru Shida, with Toni Storm losing clean, for the record. And what was honestly a very good main event match. And we now have arguably the greatest AEW Women's Champion back with the title. John, give us number 7.
Next, we had MJF and Adam Cole contract signing for the main event. They kept hinting towards a turn here. The crowd was basically forced Adam Cole to sign the contract, and he didn't even read it. He just signed off on it. So could be anything. Not really sure. But on to number 6. Ken, take it away.
Number 6, gentlemen, we have Rob Van Dam returning for the 200 episode of AEW. Had a little call out from somebody, and RVD came out and even came out to the old Pantera entrance. My God. It was beautiful. With that being said, Dakota, take us away with number 5.
Number 5 on Collision, we have Samoa Joe just absolutely squashing Snake Mask, because I can't pronounce that name. And then just delivering a promo, pretty much calling out Punk for All In at Wembley. It was probably one of Joe's best promos, and anything with Samoa Joe is always good. I will always be a fanboy about it. I don't give a fuck. John, give us number 4.
Number 4, the one that everybody's probably going to tell us should be number 1, but we don't care. This is our podcast. Jey Uso getting turned on by his own brother, Jimmy. Took me a little bit to figure out why this even happened, but you had to go to look at a promo that was like a couple weeks ago. It's kind of like one of those Marvel movies we have to get on YouTube to get an understanding of what the hell's going on. But, yeah, this would have been higher, but this is our podcast. Go fuck yourselves. But to number 3, Ken.
John, that was a beautiful transition to number 3. I'm just going to go ahead and say Io Sky's cash-in at the end of the triple threat at SummerSlam. Loved it. We knew it was coming, and we still loved it. Congrats to Io and Damage Control. Let's see what kind of championship run she can put together. Dakota, take us away with number 2.
Can I see your number 3? And I raise you a Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar post-match little segment where Brock allegedly goes off script, shakes his hand. We've never seen Brock do anything like that. And then Cody having his little moment with his mom, and then the absolute sweater puppies behind his mother that we all got to see.
That is the only reason I thought number 2, but we're not going to talk about it.
And John, for the set that was behind the mom.
Anyway, just loved it. Loved every bit of it. Jerry Lawler had a stroke somewhere watching it. John, send us home, number 1.
Number one, you guessed it, was LA Knight winning the Slim Jim Battle Royal. Triple H and the writers have finally woken up, giving this man the attention he deserves, and it's about damn time.
Yeah.
All the players in this match towards the end made this so much better. Bronson Reed getting thrown out just tickled a soft spot on all of our heads. But yeah, LA Knight finally getting his due. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and transition into the Raw recap. Go ahead and get us started on that. Raw kicked off with Cody Rhodes giving one of his "What do you want to talk about?" speeches, acknowledging what the Brock Lesnar segment we just got done talking about, and then getting interrupted by Seth Rollins. And we thought we were going to get a championship match here, and then the Judgment Day ruined it for us all. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
I liked it. I don't think I'm ready for another Seth and Cody run at this time. I think I'd rather see Cody go for the WWE title again. But you can't deny the chemistry that Seth and Cody have together. So, with that being said, I'm going to have to say that I'm for it, but just not at this moment.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong about that. Whenever they're together, it is magical. It was a good segment overall. I am curious to see what Cody's next little feud's about to be. Hopefully it's not something fucking dumb, but it probably will be.
Next, we had the announcement of the Fatal 4-Way for the shot at the Intercontinental title. We had Riddle, Chad Gable, Ricochet, and Tommaso Ciampa. Soon after, we had the match of the four of them with a crazy spot with all four of them on the turnbuckle and Chad Gable throwing them all off. Amazing to see. And eventually with Chad Gable hitting his, I don't even know what you want to call that suplex. Chaos Theory.
Yep. Chaos Theory.
And picking up the win. And then him going out into the crowd, finding his kid and running around with his kid around the ring. Good stuff. Good stuff. What's your all's thoughts on it?
Dakota wants to go ahead.
I just got a few words about this whole segment. Thank you! It's about time Gable gets some sort of fucking acknowledgement for all of this.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement on that. That was finally, we've been waiting on it. It finally happened, and I couldn't be more excited. I think we all kind of talked about Chad the other day, and what our hopes were. But honestly, I'm not going to be upset if he's the one that dethrones Gunther.
I don't think he's going to be the one to do it. I think they're dead set on breaking records right now. I wish he would, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, when did you say the match was again? Is it for
it's
next week or next?
I think it's next week
live
on
event?
Raw.
So if it's the next live event, he may break Honky Tonk Man's record by then. He was close to it last time we looked it up.
Yeah, he's about a month away, so may not want to get your hopes up too high. Just stay hopeful on that one.
I'm gonna keep him high, and when it happens, I'm gonna refer back to this podcast and tell both of y'all to suck it.
Fair enough.
Well, I'll suck you all. I'll suck you all with both hands.
Jesus.
All right. Speaking of awkward segments, there was one in the back soon after this match with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, with Sami Zayn trying to play peacemaker. Classic WWE. Can these two guys coexist? Angle they're running with. What are your guys' thoughts on that one?
Yeah, find something else for Sammy to do.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just kind of keeping Sammy there, not doing too much. Apparently, Sammy is also legitimately injured with something in his elbow. So
He's
Did
got
you see his elbow?
he's got
No.
bursitis. He can still wrestle with it. It's just really, really painful.
There was a knot on that dude's elbow.
You know what else is really painful? Anything with Bronson Reed.
We'll get there. We're getting there. Next, we had the segment of The Miz walking around backstage, getting ready to get his picture taken, I guess, and then him being told to wait. Then the camera pans over, and you see the GOAT himself, LA Knight. I don't know if y'all got to see that part or not. It was kind of quick.
Oh, we did. And it was beautiful.
Just chef's kiss.
Next, we had one of the kind of awkward segments again with Ludwig Kaiser trying to hit on Maxine Dupree, and then Otis stepping in, and then setting up a match for later on in the night with those two. You had any thoughts on that one?
Not mad at it, but I don't know. It's kind of a weird dynamic, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was one of them you're watching, you're like, all right, shoot or shoot, and then he just kept speaking. You're like, okay, this is kind of awkward.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got to as well.
I did not get to see it. I had to watch the Hulu version of Raw, so I missed out on about 3 or 4 segments. I looked up what those segments were. I'm not entirely mad I missed them.
Next we had the Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and Becky Lynch. I guess you can call it a promo. It's kind of hard to watch, but yeah. What y'all's thoughts on this one?
I don't even know, bro, honestly. Not great, not terrible, kind of in the middle for me, but
Yeah. Well, we'll bring that up later on another new segment we got going on. But yeah, next we had another backstage segment. There was quite a few of these on Raw. It was more of a talking show. But we had the Judgment Day again, starting looking like Finn Balor and Damian Priest are gonna have a feud. Rhea Ripley stepping in the middle, and then JD McDonough finally gets to speak, saying how that contract's getting in the way of all of them. Money to
he's
make
gonna be the
contract.
newest member.
I don't know. I think that he might be the reason this whole group splits.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wouldn't make sense, I guess.
Like the way they were setting it up, Priest didn't seem to like his input and asked what he's even doing there and whatever. And Rhea was like, he's just an outsider. We'll talk about it later or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he'll ever be a part of Judgment Day. Dakota, you got any thoughts on it?
I see McDonough aligning himself with Balor once as the group starts to eventually fall apart. We know it's coming. We just don't know when it all falls apart.
Yeah.
And it'll be one side you'll have Dom and Priest. The other side you'll have Balor and JD.
Yeah.
True. Okay. I like it, but
Or plot twist, they pull what they did with Edge and McDonough kicks Balor out.
Yeah. Next, we had a match with Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler, with Becky Lynch having eliminated ringside. If y'all got to see Triple H's, whenever Triple H was asked about why Becky Lynch's and Trish Stratus' match was cut, he said something about lemons and lemonade. So this was a little bit of a shot.
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah. And then Becky taking a big drink of the lemonade and spitting it out like Triple H. So a lot of shots.
I ain't mad at it.
Nope. Good on her.
Talk your shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the match itself wasn't that bad either. Both of them, both Shayna and Zoe Stark can work pretty well.
They
Next,
did look good.
go ahead.
They did look good. I mean, it was a good match.
Yep. Next, we had another backstage segment. JD McDonough jumping Sami Zayn. You really got to see the big bruise on Sami's arm or his elbow. I don't know if y'all remember this, but John Cena had one that was pretty bad a few years ago.
Yeah, I do remember that. I also remember Cena getting his nose shattered from a go to sleep. So
Yeah.
all the same.
Such good shit.
Oh gosh.
But
you know,
yeah.
we'll see how it plays out.
Next, we had the match of Otis and Ludwig Kaiser. This one got cut short. Otis got jumped by Imperium. And then Gable came out to try to save his buddy, and by then they all got out of the ring and left. Any thoughts on that one?
I really think that we're going to get a pissed off Chad Gable, which is the first time. And I think y'all are going to be surprised when Chad Gable's hands gets raised. And I can't wait.
I'm hoping you're right, but we'll see.
We're about to see the emergence of Perk Gable.
Yes.
It's going to be glorious.
It's going to happen.
Next, we had the best segment of Raw. We had The Miz, LA Knight, in promo. I'll let you guys cover this one.
No, buddy, you cover this one, okay? We've been talking a lot tonight. Why don't you cover it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking to this whole thing. Y'all go ahead.
Whittle we, me and Ken have said more than we whittle we ever do. You can whittle we cover this one.
Will we?
All right. Well, if you haven't checked us out on TikTok, we've posted this video, almost the entirety of the promo, much as
Beautiful.
TikTok would let us.
Beautiful.
It's perfect.
But yeah, if you missed it, it's on there. The Miz starts off with bringing up the. My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off there. But
you're fine.
The Miz started off with basically bringing up the whole Benoit situation, him getting kicked out of the locker room. And LA Knight said, okay, so you're going to be personal. And then went through the little bit of his backstory. Didn't go into too much detail. Kind of wish he did. Of how he wasn't going to take any shit. And that's why he didn't get called at WWE the first time. And you got pissed off Miz going in for a couple of minutes. But after pissed off Miz settled down for a second, you could hear the crowd starting to, like, a couple people starting to chant for the Miz. And LA Knight said, look, you finally gained a couple.
Good on you. Yeah. Honestly, I thought this whole segment was geared to see if LA Knight could go round for round with The Miz, who is one of the best on the mic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not gonna out promo The Miz. You're not gonna out promo John Cena. But if you can hang with them, then you've passed. And I think
you've done what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I think this was his litmus test.
I just hope this is more than just this one-off thing. If we got to do something before LA Knight holds the title, let him run with The Miz for a couple months. It's going to be entertaining just all the way around.
This makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I'm glad they brought him to Raw because there was no way he was going to get this kind of airtime on that other show with...
Not on General Bloodline.
Yeah, not with the Bloodashians.
No, I definitely agree with you on that. And like I said, this is going to be the best way to get LA Knight moving heavily, is getting feuding with The Miz.
Next, we had the return of the New Day. Not gonna lie, when I heard the start of it, I thought Big E was gonna come out with them, but glad they're back regardless.
I'm glad they're back too, but I'm with you, man. Like I'd much rather that been a Big E return versus Kofi. But return's a return. Glad Kofi's back. He's a staple of the company, so I'll take it.
Right. They faced the Viking Raiders. Pretty sure New Day won this match. I might have to go back and look.
It did. You would be right.
Yeah. Y'all got any thoughts on that?
No, like I said, man, I'm glad Kofi's back, but I'm a little disappointed because I was hoping it was gonna be Big E.
Yeah. So we had the 6-man tag of Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Judgment Day, with Cody Rhodes, Shinsuke, and Seth getting the win. While they were celebrating, though, Shinsuke jumped off the turnbuckle, turned and looked at Seth, gave him the Kinshasa, setting up that rivalry.
And heel Shinsuke.
Yeah, which is honestly best version of Shinsuke outside of that AJ Styles feud.
Good pace in the match. A lot of good moves. I like that they're not really making Dominic like too much of the weak horse on it. He's kind of competing in there with them.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely a fan of that. You know, Seth, suicide dives out to the edge are always great. Kind of going back to the beginning though, Seth's big yellow croc boots are probably one of the best things I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But Sammy getting hurt and Shinsuke stepping in, man, like it flowed. Shinsuke is kind of a weird addition. When they first announced it, I was kind of like, why would they do that? But then, of course, the end set it up. But like I said, man, that's one of the better main events we've had on Raw in the last couple of weeks. So I'm definitely here for it.
Right. Cody, you got anything?
I'm just glad to see Shinsuke back in towards the upper side of the card. The man's an excellent talent. Hopefully we finally get a world title on him and we do something better than hitting Seth in the balls for like 3 months in a row, like they did AJ Styles and Shinsuke.
Something different. But our last segment of the show was something new. The good, the bad, and the ugly of Raw. Ken, give us the good news.
The good, man, was definitely the promo between LA Knight and The Miz. Like we said earlier, those two are just golden on the mic. You had Miz referencing to him being the Attitude Era throwback, and then, LA Knight pretty much going jab for jab with him and telling him that the reason that Raw chose him is because he's safe, and that he doesn't bow down like The Miz did. That back and forth was good. I think this is going to be a great rivalry moving forward. I'm glad to see The Miz back in something. He is an excellent worker, man, and LA Knight's hottest moving superstar right now, and them going back and forth, man, that promo was just beautiful.
Dakota, give us the bad.
The bad was that fat fuck Bronson Reed had to come across my goddamn screen. This stupid, useless motherfucker. I don't understand why he is being pushed so hard for no fucking reason. Like he's built like a slightly mobile refrigerator.
Sells about as good as one, too.
You guys aren't wrong. He can't sell for shit. I think that's the thing that drives me the most crazy, though. Is like he cannot sell for anything.
Yeah. Can't. The selling isn't.
Can't sell, can barely fucking move.
Yeah.
Looks winded when he gets in the fucking ring.
His selling of punches just triggers the shit out of me every time I see it.
I think the most triggering match I'll ever see in my life if they do this is Shane McMahon versus fucking Bronson Reed. Just having to watch Bronson Reed try to sell Shane McMahon shitty punches.
It's gonna be
I
great.
might actually have a fucking stroke if I see that. And now that I mentioned it, fucking Perk McMahon's about to call in some shit and be like, "You book my son in that fuck now. It'll be such good shit." Almost as a special referee.
And imagine if we get a Cody Rhodes versus a Bronson Reed, and he does that little tribute to Dusty, the winding up punch thing, and then Bronson just no sells it.
I'm gonna go burn down New Zealand.
Just the collective sigh killed me.
John, won't you give us the ugly?
So the promo with Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and Becky Lynch. It was kind of a tough watch. I don't know what it is about Becky Lynch now, but none of her promos seem to land anymore. It's like
I've been saying that.
it's just like she's going through the motions now. You don't really feel it anymore. It's like I don't know. It's bad enough that like Zoe Stark seemed just a little bit better than Becky during this. But it's even worse when Shayna Baszler comes in and makes them both look bad. Nothing against Shayna Baszler, but she's not really known as a talker. And showed them both up.
Yeah. Well, then you had that little backstage segment between Shayna and Becky as well. You know, Shayna pretty much calling out Becky saying she's coming for her next. So
It just seems like Becky's just not in it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's getting a little hard to watch her do anything. Like even her match quality has actually gone down as well.
Yeah, for being, in my opinion, the best women's wrestler maybe ever.
And they say arguably ever, easy top 5 ever.
It's I don't know. I don't know if it's just because she's not in the title scene and she's getting frustrated. She's not getting the Charlotte Flair treatment, which honestly I'd rather have her beginning the Hulk Hogan automatically in the main event treatment over Charlotte, but it is what it is. But yeah, like we've been saying, it just feels like she's not into it at all. But
I think she's ready to be out of this feud with Trish. Honestly.
yeah, for another one for being one of the best ever, she can't really cut that great of a promo either. Trish Stratus. It's a little rough sometimes. But
Yeah. For sure.
We'll go ahead and give our show grades. Ken, what's your grade for the show?
I'm gonna give it a B plus. What ebbs and flows, good promo work, couple surprise matches. So I'm gonna give it a B plus. I liked it.
Dakota?
I'm gonna give it a B. Like Ken said, some good promo work. The matches, most of them were actually pretty good. The Gable win is kind of what really helps bump it up for me. Nobody expected that. It's good to see it happen. But overall, don't have a lot of complaints besides that fat fuck.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an A minus. If the worst segment, or if the worst two parts of it are Bronson Reed and Shinsuke, and then a Becky Lynch not being wholeheartedly into it promo, not a bad show. Been a lot worse here recently, so yeah, I'm gonna give it an A minus. There's a couple segments of this. It felt like a pay-per-view show, especially the main event, and then seeing LA Knight and The Miz go at it. But yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. So, with all that being said, make sure you follow us on all our social medias. Cheap Pop Wrestling Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok at Pop This Potty for the Cheap, and on Facebook under the TNJ Sports Podcast. Kent had to sign off a little early, a little busy with work, but This is like a fat kid in dodgeball. This is Hook signing out.
Normally you hear Kim before me, but he had to go because of work. So before we go, just a reminder to all the dads that listen out here, you're still a better dad than Chris Benoit. And this is Dakota signing out.